This is the Sega Dreamcast I have modded in many videos before, but I think it's time to draw this project to an end. But first, let's take a look at our sponsor. So whether you're a tinkerer like me, or a hobbyist in general, or even like a professional engineer, and you need something big for your next project, PCBWay is your one-stop shop for high quality, affordable PCBs and a lot more. PCBWay specialises in precision PCB prototyping starting for just $5, but that is not all. They also offer services for small runs or full-scale productions, complete with component sourcing and soldering, so no matter how complex your design is, they've got you covered. PCBWay also offer 3D printing and CNC machining services, which allows you to create such things as like enclosures, mechanical parts, or even custom designs with materials like resin, metal, or plastic. So if you need your project done fast, PCBWay has a lightning fast turnaround times with prototypes ready in as little as 24 hours. So join thousands of creators and engineers who trust PCBWay. Visit the link in the description down below, and let's get stuck into this video. So in 2022, I picked up my first ever Dreamcast, and as you can see, it was a wee bit yellow. The first thing I wanted to do with this Dreamcast was install the GDMU, which is the SD card mod, and I wanted to try and de-yellow the shell a wee bit. Now here I'm using hydrogen, some kind of hydrogen peroxide, I'm not sure what it was, wrapped in cling film, and put in the UV box, and that kind of sorted out a lot of the discoloration. I also went on and changed the power LED light, as well as installing this kaico HDMI adapter cable. Now this all worked absolutely fantastically, but later down the line I decided to install some controller port LEDs and this soundboard. Like, these are just cosmetic things really, they're not really necessary, but I'm glad I installed them in the end. Now however, I think it's time to draw this Dreamcast build to an end, because I've been kind of doing wee bits here and there over the last few years. So the first thing I wanted to do was install it into this crystal clear shell. Now I got this via AliExpress for I think maybe €50, that was including delivery and all that jazz. You get all the screws, all the decals for the top, and as well I am going to install a USB-C mod. So this is the original Dreamcast. I'm going to gut this thing and basically take out all the mods that I have done before. Now as you can see, it's a bit of a mess here with wires and everything like that, so I'm going to do just a few kind of bits to tidy this up once I've taken everything out. So the first thing we're going to do is have to uninstall this power board, and that's going to be the kind of main thing here, because this is going to be one of the main things getting replaced. I did have to solder directly into the pins for some of the other wee mods I've done here, so getting it out was a wee bit tricky, but once it was out, it's just a case of unscrewing everything and basically just gutting the thing. So now this is everything completely taken out of the old Dreamcast shell. It's time to get everything put back into the new one. So the first thing is I'm going to put in the shielding, the main board as well as the top shielding, and everything slots in as if this is a genuine Sega shell. So they include screws and bolts and everything like that, but I ended up just using the ones that came with the console itself, for no other reason other than I just wanted to keep the nice screws. So I'm installing the GDMU first, because I'm going to have to kind of build everything around this, and this is really the biggest, chunkiest thing. Then I'm going to try and kind of have to figure out the wiring and stuff like that, figure out what's going to go where, because I'm not wanting it to look, you know, messy on the inside, because you can see through it because it's a crystal shell. But here's the Dream PSU. So this is the upgraded power supply unit for the Dreamcast. Now this comes with a barrel jack as stock, and I am going to change it from a barrel jack to a USB-C, and for that I'm going to use a 12 volt trigger board. So first thing is just going to plug it into the main board itself, and then I'm going to connect the power button. With the controller port LEDs, I decided to take these away because I am going to install other LEDs into the console as well, and because these are a kind of static, I wanted to just get rid of them. Now the wiring here is for if you're wiring the 4 ports, but I decided just to wire the 1 because I'd really only be using the 1. So I'm just kind of fastening everything here just to make sure it's all going to sit well. And here you can see the final mount of the ESP32 board. So now the LEDs are removed, the fans installed. I've also installed this wee switch at the side here. This basically turns the Bluetooth off and on inside, so you can still use your regular controller or hook it up to a Bluetooth one. And like I said, I've only got the first controller port installed anyway. I might install the second, third and fourth maybe later down the line, but we'll see. So this is this 12 volt trigger board that I was talking about before. Now this basically takes your kind of like, say, your Switch charger or your Steam Deck charger, I think it's a 20 watt charger, and it's going to convert it into the 12 volts that we need to power the Dreamcast. So I'm just going to give it a kind of quick test here just to make sure it powers on at least. And we've got the power light anyway, so that's a good start, so happy with that. So I'm going to use this Dream PSU's extra ports. It's got 2 5 volt and 2 12 volt plugs to basically attach other wee peripherals. So this is where I'm going to attach the fan LED as well as the Bluetooth board and the LED ribbon as well. So I've got these jumper wires here, and I'm basically just using the ends of these, I think it's the female ends of these, to plug directly into the pins on the PSU. And thankfully they fit absolutely perfectly and they work. So as you can see here, the LED for the fan has come on and the power for the soundboard has also come on. One part of the reshelling process is changing out the internet adapter here as well. It came all with that. Taking this thing apart was easy, just a couple of screws and a bit of heat shielding. To get it back in, it took me a wee bit of kind of angling. I'm not sure, I think maybe I just took it out the wrong way and I don't know. But look, it's all in and it's all brand new, it's all spanking. So the next thing I'm going to install here are these LEDs, these LED lights. So again, along the same lines as because they're USB-C, they just need 5 volts. So I'm going to snip off the USB end, strip the wires back to show the positive and negative side, and I'm going to attach these again then to the jumper wires that I had before. And then these will plug straight into the PSU itself. And that's our wee kind of connection cable sorted here now, so we'll get this plugged in. So this just gets plugged straight into the board here, and then we'll plug in the LEDs just to make sure they work, and everything's looking good so far. So the next thing is, I'm just going to kind of do a wee bit of cable management here, and get the lights wrapped around the GDMU. So I think they actually worked out really well here, because as you'll see in a wee while, it emits a really nice glow for the center of the console rather than around the edge. So I'm happy with the placement there. And plug it in, we'll get a final test, see the thing lighting up like Christmas, and we are sorted. God, there's so many lights there. So everything seems to be working, so we'll get the top shelf put on, and then we'll see how everything looks once it's plugged in. So another thing that came out are these wee kind of decals where the Dreamcast logo usually goes. There's a blue one and an orange one, but because I like blue, I chose the blue one, and I think the blue and the clear go really, really well. I think if I kept the Power Light orange, I might have kept this. I might have used the orange one for this, but I think the blue one looks absolutely spanking. So we'll get the thing booted up, and we'll make sure everything basically runs first, the thing doesn't sizzle, and everything's looking good. So we'll get this thing plugged in. And this is using the kaico cable here. There's no other upscaling. This is going from the kaico cable directly into my capture card, and as you can see, I think this is absolutely crystal. I was going to go for the HDMI mod kit, but I figured maybe that might have just been adding a bit too much to the board. And to be honest, I've seen kind of comparisons between the kaico cable and the HDMI mod, and I didn't really see much of an upgrade, like much of a difference between the kaico and this. And I think the HDMI mod was like 70 quid and this kaico cable was like 20. So I'm going to keep it external, I'm going to keep the cable, and lads, I think that's me done now with the Dreamcast. I think this is the last build. I don't think there's anything else I can really do. If you enjoyed this video, thanks a million for sticking around. If you've followed the Dreamcast journey, please let me know what you thought of down below. I'm going to stop rambling now, and I'm going to go play some Dreamcast, especially some of this Berserk. So thanks a million for watching, we'll see you in the next one, and bye for now.